Welcome to Windward Unity Church, where it's our passion and our purpose and our pleasure to invite and inspire and nurture our oneness with God in all of life. To recognize what the Scriptures teach us, that each of us is created in the image and likeness of God. That we are here to be blessed and beloved expressions of God. Here in the spiritual community, we recognize the power of prayer and the power of spoken word. With that knowledge, I want to invite you to use that power of prayer and that power of spoken word as you declare that you are a blessed and beloved expression of God. Would you exert that with me out loud together? I am a blessed and beloved expression of God. Yes, you are. The truth is no matter where you may be going, no matter what you may be doing, you are here by divine appointment. A divine appointment that has as its foundation restoring the meaning of compassion, restoring the meaning and the experience of love itself. Here by divine appointment to be a light to yourself and to others in your life. This morning I'd like to share a poem with you entitled God's Nature, written by St. Thomas Aquinas. Now, of course, being from New Mexico, I can't say that without ever saying also known as San Tomás Aquinas.
Sí.
Sí, claro que sí.
Claro que sí.
Sometimes we think what we are saying about God is true, when in fact, it's not. It would seem of value to differentiate between what is God's nature and what is false about love. I've come to learn that the truth never harms, never frightens. I've come to learn that God's compassion and light can never be limited. Thus, any God who could condemn is not a God at all, but some disturbing image in the mind of a child we best ignore until we can cure the dark. I invite you in this present moment to do what you can do, which is so incredibly much, to cure the dark, by greeting your neighbor with a good morning, aloha, and a hug.
Love is but a song we sing, fears the way we die. You can make the mountains ring, or the angels cry. Though the dove is on the wing, we may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, we will surely pass. When the one who left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading on the grass. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together and love one another right now. Come Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together and love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. One key unlocks them both, you know, it's at your command. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together and love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together and love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together and love one another right now.
Thank you, Gio.
It's a day to celebrate life. It's Aloha Sunday. It's a time when we take the time to recognize the Aina, the land in which we are presently blessed to live in. And we do that by looking at one of the people who were responsible for restoring and keeping permanent the Hawaiian way of life, Mary Kavenapukui. She was born on the big island of Hawaii and was born to a Caucasian father and a Hawaiian mother. She grew up speaking Hawaiian, yet she also grew up speaking English. At the turn of the century, there was a time when it appeared that the Hawaiian culture and the Hawaiian language would disappear. But as a result of the study of Mary Kavenapukui and her bilingualism, she was responsible for the renaissance of Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian language. One of the ways that she did this was by collecting and comprising a number of different wisdom sayings, poetical sayings, or proverbs, if you will, and compiling them into a book called Olelo Noeau. This morning we're going to look at one of the proverbs that come from Olelo Noeau, and it is, Ele no'au I ko aloha. Of course. Wouldn't you agree? Normally what I do each and every Sunday whenever we have Aloha Sunday is that we break down the words so that we can learn a little bit of Hawaiian as we go along. But this Sunday we're already familiar with a couple of the major words that are in this particular phrase. Lei, which is something that you see every Aloha Sunday, and probably something that you have all over your house or at one point or another over the course of the last few months. You've had some experience and firsthand experience with ale. And of course, aloha, which means love, which means hello, and it means goodbye. Yet, in an English way, in our Western minds, it's actually quite difficult to truly grasp what this word means. It means so much more than just the words that we try to transliterate. Aloha is actually an expression of the flow of life, a recognition that the ancient Hawaiians knew that life was flowing all around them and within them and through them. So this particular phrase is about the leis and the alohas that we experience in our lives. The way that this is translated in Olelo Noeau is, I will wear your love as a wreath. I will cherish your love as a beautiful adornment. Leis were worn as adornments by the ancient Hawaiians. It was a way that they expressed and recognized the social strata in which they lived. The ali'i, the chiefs, were often known to wear a number of different types of leis. They were all composed of specific materials other than the flower leis that we are familiar with. Some of those things were kukui nuts, feathers, bones, fish teeth, strings, and of course there are maeleles, which were comprised of a particularly fragrant type of leaf. Leis were representative of the placement that people in Hawaii would have. Yet in modern times, leis are considered something that you gift to someone as friendship. It's a lei that we give to someone whenever they've been traveling from far away, from the mainland, if you will, to come here. It's a tradition in the airport that you greet people who have been away for a time, whether they are kama'aina, the people who are of this land, or whether they're strangers and visiting. Leis are a way that we adorn others so that we might express the love and welcome and the friendship that we would like to extend to them. Over the course of the last week, perhaps you've heard some news about some particularly difficult things that have been going on in this world. There was the unfortunate case of the bombing in Boston. It's caused many of us to experience probably some sadness and some fear and some anger. It doesn't appear that in Boston they have an expression of aloha, that they are extending leis to one another. I'd like to challenge that, actually. What happened in Boston is actually, as it turns out, something that happened between two men who actually misperceived the world in a way that was a statement of separation and a statement of fear. In this spiritual community, we get an opportunity to follow the wisdom sayings that the ancient Hawaiians demonstrated for us, and rather than fearing or rather than looking at separation, we get an opportunity to acknowledge our oneness, to acknowledge the flow of life in our lives and the lives of those around us. So even though the news may have some particularly sometimes frightening or awestruck experience, the difference that we can make is the shift that we make in our consciousness toward acknowledging our oneness and the love that we hold toward others. As a spiritual leader, I get an opportunity to look at a lot of different perspectives that people have. One of the things that's been disconcerting and distressing for me to read is that there are a lot of people who seem to want vengeance, that there needs to be some punishment that has to go along with this misperception. Unfortunately, what happens when we continue to punish others around us, when we continue to blame and fear, what we get is exactly that. More blame and more fear, and the cycle continues and deepens. The Buddha says in one of the many scriptures of Buddhism, hatred is never appeased by hatred in this world. By non-hatred alone is hatred appeased. This is a law eternal. It's another way that simply states the law of expansion and the law of attraction. In case any of you didn't notice, I'm having a bit of difficulty with the computer this morning. So I'm kind of bouncing around. I invite you to be patient. With the law of attraction and the law of expansion, what we recognize in this spiritual community is that what we focus on seems to expand and grow. If we focus on fear and separation, then we seem to get more fear and separation. Yet if we focus on oneness and love and extending a hand of assistance, extending a hand of love, then that's what we experience in our lives. The law of attraction states that when we stand for love, then we get more love. The law of attraction also states that when we stand for fear, we seem to get more fear. The Hebrew Scriptures and also the Christian Scriptures seem to repeat over and over again, do not be afraid. Yet our culture and our media seem to be focused on something else. There seems to be an idea that there is something to fear, that there can be something that can be gained from being in that fear. Today I invite us to recognize that this statement from the ancient Hawaiians, Ele no au iko aloha, can give us an opportunity to accept and embrace exactly what's going on and to live in a new consciousness, in a new way of life, into an experience of aloha. I want to invite you to claim this powerful spiritual affirmation with me, out loud together. I accept and embrace all the good in the universe. I make right choices in thoughts, words, and actions. As we go through our lives, we can have a choice of how we would like to extend friendship and honor to others in our lives, whether they're strangers or whether they're our close family and friends. We have the option and the availability to extend in love the same extension of love and aloha that the ancient Hawaiians taught us. We can wear our loves as a wreath and cherish our love as a beautiful adornment. It's a choice that we can make. It's a way that we can make a difference in this world. This morning I'm wearing a wreath that, a lei. It's been a long time since I've called something like this a wreath, but I actually did that just a moment ago. This morning I'm wearing a lei that's comprised of ilima, which is the flower of Oahu. Each and every island in the Hawaiian island chains has a specific flower that is indigenous to that particular island and also representative of that island. I invite you, in the same way that ilima represents Oahu, for you to decide what you would like to represent in your life. Are you a stand for peace? Are you a stand for compassion? Would you like to be the person who represents love? Would you like to be the person who represents flow? Whatever your flower might be, I invite you to wear that flower as an adornment, as a way that you might go through your life and express aloha in this world. I want to invite you to claim this affirmation once again, in an awareness that what you declare and what you exclaim is what you experience. Join with me as we declare this out loud together. I accept and embrace all the good in the universe. I make wise choices in thoughts, words, and actions. The way that we can do that is by focusing our mind on the good that happens in our lives, rather than focusing on what appears to be evil or separate or bad. I wonder what it would be like if we actually experienced a newscast that looks or sounds a bit like this. We are joined this morning by a special representative of Channel 40 KNOW News, right here in Kaneohe. What's going on, John?
All throughout the world and all over the entire planet, electricity is coursing through the electrical grid to provide much-needed power to all who can use it. A better life through lighting, computers, blenders, microwaves, fans, and heaters are being used all over the world. And folks in this suburban community are somehow not simply flying off the face of the earth. We just don't know how this thing called gravity actually happens, but in spite of the earth spinning so rapidly, no one here is suddenly shooting off into space. This appears to be happening all over the world. It's an extraordinary thing to witness every single day. I'm John DeLuca for Channel 40 KNOW News, so stay grounded, Kaneohe. At this very moment, there are children all over the world who are being loved and hugged by their grandparents. With encouragement, patience, gifts of puppies and kittens, and also kisses, grandchildren throughout the world are spending time with their grandparents, thereby making the world a better place. Life itself is good news. Looking into the eyes of a loved one is good news. Speaking so that someone can understand is good news. Do not be afraid of the good news, but expect it.
Yes. Thank you, John. So what I'm inviting us into today is an experience of wearing the lei of love, an experience of making a choice of the news that we would like to focus on. Am I suggesting that we don't pay attention to the other news that's going on? Not at all. It's important for us to be informed about what's happening in our world. It's important for us to be abreast of anything that may be going on. But if we allow that to take the central focus of our lives, then that seems to be the thing that returns to us over and over again. Yet if we recognize the miracle of gravity, the miracle of electricity, and the miracle of grandparents, then we can recognize that that is what returns to us in our lives. That is indeed the very thing that gives us an opportunity to experience the flow of love and the flow of life in this world. I wear the lei of love, and I commit to doing that in this present moment and in this day.
I remember days when we were younger. We used to catch opal in the mountain stream. Round the Kolau hills we'd ride on horseback. So long ago it seems like a dream. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. But I fear you won't be like I left you. Ke aloha kuhoneo kahalu. I remember days when we were wiser, when our world was small enough for dreams, and you have lingered there, my sister. I no longer can, so it seems. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. But I fear you won't be like I left you. Me ke aloha kuhole o ka halu. Change is a strange thing, it cannot be denied. It can help you find yourself or make you lose your pride. Move with it slowly as on the road we go. Please don't hold on to me, we all must go alone. I remember days when we were smiling, when we laughed and sang the whole night long. And I will greet you as I find you, with the sharing of a song. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. Please accept me as you'll find me. Me ke aloha kuhole o ka halu. Me ke aloha kuhole o ka halu. Me ke aloha kuhole o ka halu.